It tastes amazing. The frosting's really good.
Thanks for joining me for another King Arthur's Baking Company box set bake. Today I decided to make chocolate chunk scones. I purchased the scones and the scone pan from King Arthur's Bakery website and was very excited to get started. First, I took the scone pan and put butter in it and a little bit of flour and got it ready for the scone mix. Then I added the scone mix to the bowl and added salt and set it aside. So this recipe calls for cold butter pats. So I cut up the butter and slowly added it and used my dough blender to mix it all up. The clumps still were pretty big, so I had to put my hands in and make sure that they were spread evenly and were a better size. Once that was done, I set the mix aside and made the wet mix. This wet mix includes milk, an egg, and then I slowly started mixing in. You will find that the mix doesn't get as incorporated, so you can add maybe a splash or two of more milk. As you're mixing, grab a little flour and put it on your hands and start to mix it with your hands. This mix is very sticky. Once you have everything incorporated, you get your pan out and put it into each little section. The back of the box has a baker's tip that recommends that you freeze these scones for 30 minutes. I put a lid over the scones and put them in the freezer. While these were in the freezer, I preheated the oven to 400 degrees. Once they were done with the freezer, I slid them straight into the oven. After 21 minutes and rotating, the tops finally looked golden brown. But when I went to go remove them, the bottoms were very soft and there was no color to the crust. So in order to not burn the top, make sure to put some foil on and put them back in the oven. I ended up baking these for a total of 56 minutes. That does seem like a very long time, but if you want them to turn out like a true scone, you want to make sure that every single side has a golden brown color. I don't know if it was my pan that kept the bottoms from baking, but I would just make sure to double check them as you go. Keep putting them in the oven and keep rotating, and you don't want the tops to burn, so make sure to put that foil on top. Once these are out of the oven, I grabbed a knife and cut along the edges of the pan to break up each scone. Make sure that they cool in the pan for about 5 minutes. While these scones were baking, I made an easy glaze that was recommended on the back of the box. This glaze is confection sugar, cream, and vanilla extract. These scones were not like typical scones where they're hard throughout. These scones were harder on the outside and soft in the inside. Let's see what my kids have to say.
I like the chocolate chip. The middle is soft and I like that the outside is crunchy.
I don't like the frosting.
The scone is really hard, but not in the middle.